One of my favorite movies of the year is I, Tonya, a brutal biopic about the disgraced Olympic athlete Tonya Harding, who was eaten alive by the tabloids after her alleged involvement in the assault of her competitor Nancy Kerrigan. I, Tonya is also a story about how we remember things, both as individuals and as an audience. Tonya is a character who is haunted by her past at every step, crippled by low self-worth due to years of abuse and neglect from her parents and husband. Yet while Tonya's history informs so much of her identity, what one remembers and what actually happened can be two different things. Screenwriter Stephen Rogers reminds us of this by showing the differing perspectives of several key figures in Tonya's life, by having characters break the fourth wall in the middle of the scene, or cutting to documentary-style interview sequences with the characters set 30 years after the fact. Tonya posits herself as a victim of everyone else's bad decisions, which she very well may be, but this narrative is in opposition to everything printed about Harding thus far. The film doesn't necessarily suggest Tonya as a hero, but it grants her the empathy that journalists and judges never did. With this observation, I, Tonya highlights the more far-reaching social issue with memory, which is how bad faith and exaggeration have come to rule the 24-hour news cycle and pervade public consciousness. After watching the movie at Austin Film Festival, I had a fascinating conversation with another woman in line who said that all this time she thought Tonya Harding was caught red-handed assailing Nancy Kerrigan with a baseball bat. That is categorically false for many reasons, yet this was a common enough misconception that the film I, Tonya even mentions it explicitly in one comedic gag. Another thing I, Tonya does with disturbing honesty is portray the cycle of abuse between Tonya and both her mother and her husband later on. Don't get me wrong, this film is still definitely a comedy. It just is not a comedy that makes you want to feel good. Many of the gags include sequences of domestic violence, choreographed like physical comedy, or shallow tabloid-style digs about Tonya's appearance, class, and overall character. Or, best of all, Alyson Janney's incredible deadpan narcissism. And of course, there are a few knee-bashing jokes thrown in as well that will make you laugh and immediately feel bad about it. I haven't been able to stop thinking about I, Tonya since seeing it at Austin Film Festival. Margot Robbie, who produced the film as well as starred in it, director Craig Gillespie, and writer Stephen Rogers accomplished an incredible feat, turning a sensationalist media scandal into a sort of redneck Sophoclean tragedy. It's one of the greatest calls for empathy I've seen in a single film in a long time, and I can't recommend it enough as you decide what movie to see this weekend.